First and foremost, all praises are due to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakak Pradash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us His truth. Salutations to the brothers around the four corners of the earth who are teaching this word in truth and sincerity. And shalom to the hopeful elect of Israel who listen and believe in this word. This is Brother Kawatazah Abad coming at you lesson. This one is entitled Gradualism and the Tale of the Boiling Frog. And I got this idea from Elder Apostle Gabar last week when he was street teaching with Elder Apostle Tahar, as well as Elder Apostle Ramlov and the bishop. He told us about this tale of the boiling frog, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But first, let's get a definition of gradualism. Gradualism, the policy of approaching a desired end by gradual stages. So you have an agenda, you want to get to something as far as the end of it, but you do it in gradual stages. You don't just pop to the end off the bat. You have to do it gradually. Of course, this is akin to the New World Order, aka the Illuminati, and them wanting to implement the MOTB, all right, the CHIP, spoken of in Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16, where they want you to put this CHIP in your head, your forehead, or either your hand, you see. But they can't do it all at once because people would be alarmed. Excuse me. So you have to do things gradually. You have to have a gradual approach to this. You can't just do it all at once. You can't just boil the water immediately. The water has to boil little by little before people realize that it's boiling. So you do a gradual thing. So let's get the tale of the boiler and see how it relates to gradualism. Hopefully it just takes a second to pop up here. Okay, this is the tale of the boiling frog, okay? And this relates to gradualism. So this reads as such. Urban myth has it that if you put a frog in a pot of boiling water, it will instantly leap out. And that just relates to just what I said. If you bring about the MOTB immediately, people are going to be outraged, so you have to do it gradually. But if you put a frog, okay, you put it in a pot filled with pleasantly tepid water, which is like lukewarm water, and gradually heat the water, the frog will remain in the water until it boils to death. You see? So if you take a frog, you put him in boiling water, he'll jump out immediately. But if you take a frog and put him in water that's lukewarm and warm it up little by little, he'll get comfortable. And then before he knows it, the water is boiled, okay, and it's too late. Okay, he's done. He's going to die in that boiling water, you see, because it was done gradually, all right? Let's see here. Allegedly, the frog is not able to detect the gradual increase in temperature until it's too late. So before the frog realizes that the water is boiling, it's too late. And that same approach is being used through gradualism to bring about, okay, the MOTB. Little by little, this is going to be done. They can't do it all at once. All right. So let's continue reading here a little bit. This allegory is frequently used in economics, business, and marketing to point out that change has to be introduced gradually if it is to be successful. You see, it also illustrates an aspect of human psychology. We tend to accept things that creep up on us slowly but steadily, even when they take control of our lives. But one day we wake up and find ourselves in boiling water. And such is the nature of excess, you see? So eventually, the MOTB will be brought about, but it's been done gradually. You can even go back to, you know, 2001, during the Twin Towers. When those towers came down, little by little, they took away your rights gradually, you see? And then we're at the point now where, over 20 something years later, that process has been done more and more, gradually taking away your rights, you see? Gradually taking away your freedoms. But this has to be done little by little. It can't be done all at once. And it has to be put in different disguises so that you won't realize that you're in boiling water when you're in the boiling water and you're boiling, okay? So that's the process of the elites, okay? The Edomites, Esau, the so-called devil, the elites of the Edomites, getting their MOTB implemented. It's a gradual process, all right? So let's continue on. Let's give you an idea of how they're doing that. Let's go back here. And let's go to history. And let's go to how they're going to bring this thing about little by little. First, they're going to do it by introducing to us this thing called the FedNow system, you see. Now, FedNow is going to replace basically the Cash App. It's basically the Cash App, but the Federal Reserve is controlling it now, you see. All right? Matter of fact, the founder of the Cash App was mysteriously killed maybe a month and a half ago. He was stabbed walking down the street. So who knows, that may have been something that was conspired against him. And all of a sudden in July, they're going to be launching the FedNow system, which is run by the federal government, okay? The Federal Reserve, I should say. You see? They're going to run the same thing that Cash App was doing. You have PayPal. You have a couple other systems, Vimo, okay, that are basically the same system. But the Federal Reserve wants to get control of this, okay? And this is a gradual process that will lead to the MOTB, spoken of in Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. Information on what the FedNow system is. It says, FedNow service is an instant payment service provided by the Federal Reserve, conveniently, launching in July 2023. So we got about another month before this is launched. FedNow will be available to depository institutions such as banks and credit unions in the United States and will enable individuals and businesses to send instant payments through their depository institution accounts. So basically it's like the Cash App system or PayPal or Venmo, okay? Instant payments allow so that the receiver of a payment can use the funds almost instantly, you see? So you see the strategy and what they're trying to do? Little by little, they're going to be doing this, all right? The Federal Reserve has made no decision on issuing a central bank digital currency, the CBDC. That's going to be the next step before the MOTB, and would only proceed with the issuance of a CBDC with an authorizing law, you see? So they have to bring it, into the Congress and the Senate and things of that nature, but they're going to pass it. But they have to do the FedNow first, okay? And make it look like, and give it a disguise and make it look like it has nothing to do with the central bank digital currency system that they want to implement before they do the MOTB. So like I said, it's gradually. You can't put the frog in boiling water. You had to put the frog in lukewarm water and slowly turn up the water little by little. All right. And so let's, like I said, this is a gradual thing. And so if you look back in 1974, you had the Universal Product Code or the barcode, you see, where they were scanning items, okay? You scanned your groceries and your products. Beforehand, everything was done on the cash register. They had to type it in, the price, you see, there was no scanner. But now when you go to the supermarket or other stores, they scan your items. So there's a record of what you bought. There's a record of what time you made the purchase and where you made the purchase at. You see, so that's all on your receipt. You see, so little by little they've been doing this. So that was one of the first beginnings was the universal product code or the barcode, and then you had your debit cards, your credit cards, and you also have direct deposit, where literally most of us don't even use cash anymore. And when you had the C-19 a few years ago, okay, so that was done purposely as well, to affect the physical currency to the point where people were ordering things online and people were, on lockdown. So they were ordering a lot of things online. Okay, so that was a something that was meant to happen. Okay, to give the effect of, cash is not really necessary anymore, little by little, to the point that where nobody really uses cash anymore like that. Everything, like I said, is debit card, credit card, direct deposit. And the Cash App system, the Cash App, the founder, of course, he was found, killed maybe about a month ago, okay, month and a half ago. The Cash App system was fine. So why do we need a Fed now, okay, that's going to emulate the Cash App system? You have the Cash App, you have the PayPal, you have the Venmo, and a couple other systems that are working perfectly fine. But now the Federal Reserve, which is not even part of the federal government, it's a separate institution, they want to gain control over that so they can do these things themselves. So you can see the gradualism at work there, okay? So the next step will be the CBDC. If I can get that real quick here. Okay, here we go here. Okay, what is the CBDC? Let's get a little definition. What is a central bank digital currency? All right. A CBDC is a digital form of central bank money that is widely available to the general public. Okay. Now, this hasn't been instituted in the United States yet. They're talking about it, but we know it's going to be instituted. You have other countries, India, Japan, China, Australia, and a few other countries that are right now testing this system out through their central bank. They're testing the digital currency system out. So it's being piloted in other countries. So that's letting you know that this is being controlled, okay, by the NWO, okay, the elites of the Edomites, which control all the banks, control all the money, control the entertainment, control Hollywood. They control everything. They're the puppet masters, so to speak. All right, everybody does their bidding. You can't see them, but they're around. So they're doing this gradualism themselves in order to bring about the finality, which will be the MOTB spoken of in Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. Let's read this again. What is a central bank digital currency? A CBDC is a digital form of central bank money that is widely available to the general public. And our central bank is the Federal Reserve System, which is not connected with the federal government. Central bank money refers to money that is the liability of the central bank. In the United States, there are currently two types of central bank money: physical currency, which hardly anybody uses anymore, issued by the Federal Reserve, and digital balances held by commercial banks at the Federal Reserve. You see? So those digital balances are part of the Fed Now system, you see? All right? So we see the Federal Reserve wants to control, okay, what the commercial banks, your credit unions, your regular banks, what they're already doing. So they've instituted the Fed Now system, which will be which is the transfer of money, like the cash app system, which is instant money, instant payments between institutions such as credit unions and banks. Okay, they've already instituted that, the Fed Now system. Well, they're going to be instituting that in July. Okay, about a month away, but they're already getting in the process of doing that very soon. So they're going to be able to control, okay, the direct payments from the institutions, the credit unions, and the regular commercial banks. So they're going to get control of that in July. The next step is the CBDC. You see it says here there are currently two types of central bank money: physical currency issued by the Federal Reserve and digital balances held by commercial banks at the Federal Reserve. You see? So the Federal Reserve is in control of everything already. So they're going to get complete control of this, starting with the Fed Now and then the central bank digital currency system, which they're going to pass through Congress. It's going to pass sooner than you think, okay? But first they have to, do it gradually through the Fed Now system, make it look good. Like there's still individual banks, there's credit unions, but they're running that, okay? They're running it now, okay? Because they've already eliminated, they haven't eliminated Cash App, but they're going to eliminate that. Because Cash App is basically doing what the Fed Now will be doing in July. So why not just leave it the same, all right? So we know there's a hidden agenda and there's a means to an end, gradualism. Okay, let's see what we got here. We're almost done. Let's get a couple of scriptures, okay? Like I said, this will all eventually lead to the MOTB spoken of in Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. Matter of fact, let's get that. All right. As soon as it pops up here. Okay, we have Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. This should be a scripture that's in your head that you know is coming. It's one of the last two prophecies, all right? It's the MOTB, the CHIP, as well as the day of the Lord when Yahushua comes back with those chariots to extract the elect, the 1/3 elect of the Hebrew Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right? So we know this is one of the last two prophecies. In the midst of that, you'll have Jacob's trouble, the concentration camps, where they're going to try to force you to take the MOTB. All right, but the elect of the Hebrew Israelites will not be fooled. But they do have the camps ready, the FEMA camps. They've closed over 1,000 Walmarts. They're going to try to convince you to take this CHIP. Some of us will die, will get beheaded. That's spoken of in Revelation as well. Some of us will be put in prisons. So get your mind mentally and spiritually ready for these times that are going to be coming up. And then you're going to have World War III. And in the midst of that, you'll have Yahushua coming back with the myriad of angels in the chariots, a.k.a. So-called UFOs. And he's going to destroy Babylon, America, extract the elect, the 1/3 of the Hebrew Israelites, and destroy Babylon, America. It's going to be a lake of fire. The 2/3 of us who didn't hearken to this word of the Hebrew Israelites, you're going to be destroyed along with the Edomites, Esau, so-called white man, the devil, as well as the other nations that are here in America, Babylon. Okay? Now the 2/3 will come back in the kingdom as through the loins of the 1/3 as babies during their 1,000-year reign with Yahushua. So that's just a little a summarization of what's to come, and we're coming upon it sooner than you think. So, like I said, gradualism, the Fed Now, the CBDC is eventually going to lead to the MOTB, all right, the CHIP. Revelation 13 and verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, when it says he causeth, that's talking about, of course, the New World Order, the elites of the Edomites that are running everything, okay, behind closed doors. It's talking about them, okay, when it says he causeth. All right. So once that CBDC is implemented, all right, and they have total control of the digital currency, all right, they're going to be able to track, everything you do, which they can do right now, but they'll even have a greater power to track you through what you buy, all right, where you are, what you do with your money, etc. They'll be able to track you even better, okay, than the regular commercial banks were doing before that. So this is all about taking away your freedoms. And like I said, they've done it gradually, all right? You go from 2001 to the Twin Towers, okay? They use that as a beginning point. And even further back, you can go back to the New Deal in 1933 with the Social Security card, the birth certificate. But just for this lesson, I'm just tracking it back to 2001 with the Twin Towers falling down. That was an excuse to take away your rights little by little up until this point. You see? Gradualism. You can't do everything at once. You have to do it gradually before the people realize that they're in boiling water. In the implementation of this MOTB, where they're going to try to, convince you to take this MOTB, is going to be the boiling water. That frog in the boiling water that realizes, man, everything was fine. Everything was cool. We had the C-19. People took the jungle juice. People had the mask on. Now the masks are gone. People are getting very comfortable. Everything's going back to normal. We're going to go back to normal. Everything's good. America's going to be fine. Everybody's out partying right now. Summertime, going to the beaches. Travel is at an all-time high. So everything is back to normal. So people are like that frog. They're in the water. It feels good, just right, lukewarm. But it's being turned up little by little, you see, to the point that you're not going to realize, as the boiling frog realized, that the water is boiling when they bring about that MOTB. You see? Now, if you take it as a Hebrew Israelite, so-called Black, Latino, and Native American, you take that MOTB, you're going to be destroyed. Either you're going to be destroyed before, okay, the day of the Lord, okay, when those missiles come from Russia and the other nations, and you're going to have the chariot fire, the laser fire coming down on Babylon, America. It's going to be a lake of fire here. So either you're going to be destroyed that way, or you're going to be destroyed in Revelation, like it says in Revelation 16, verse 2. Let's get that. See if I can find that. Let's go to Revelation 16, chapter 16, and verse 2. And it reads as such. And the first went out, and these are the angels, and poured out his vial upon the earth. And there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast. I shouldn't have said that, the MOTB, and upon them which worshipped his image. You see? So even before the day of the Lord comes, if you take this MOTB, it's a very cancerous thing. You can be destroyed before that day even happens if you let these elites, okay, convince you to put this MOTB in your body, all right, because it's not natural. But let's say you get that MOTB and you make it into the day of the Lord when Yahweh Shai comes back with the chariots and the angels, and you have World War III going on, you have the nuclear missiles coming, hitting Babylon, America. Let's say you do make it to that day. Let's go to Revelation chapter 14. Okay, Revelation chapter 14 and verse 9. If you have that mark on the day of the Lord, you will be destroyed in that lake of fire. 14 verse 9, it reads as such. You see, it says doom for worshipers of the beast. And if you take that MOTB, obviously you gave in and you worshiped the beast in his image. You went with the program. Okay. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast, and the beast is the modern day Roman Empire, which is led by the harlot, okay, America, Babylon, all right. But the beast in itself is the modern day Roman Empire, comprising the European Union and NATO. And America, Babylon is the whore that is controlling the beast. So if any man worship the beast in his image is the philosophies, the doctrines of this place, America. Okay, feminism, men with men, transgenderism, all that filthy stuff. Okay, pedophilia. You see, all those things, the doctrines and philosophies of Babylon, America, which have polluted the whole world. So if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark, the CHIP, all right, spoken of in Revelation 13, chapter 13, verse 16, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, verse 10, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, which is indignation is righteous judgment. And he shall be tormented with fire in the day of the Lord and in the presence of the Lamb. And that represents Yahweh Shai, the Savior, the Messiah. So if you take this MOTB, you're going to be destroyed in the presence of the angels of the Lord, okay? In Yahweh Shai on the day of the Lord, through fire, the nuclear missiles coming from Russia and the other nations, as well as laser fire coming from the chariots of the Lord, all right? So I want to illustrate that as far as gradualism, all right? And the concept of the boiling frog, okay? Everything's going to be done gradually, little by little. Before you know it, the water's going to be boiling. You're going to have martial law. You're going to have people knocking at your doors. And you're going to be put in, some of us are going to be put in concentration camps, but the main focus is to get the Hebrew Israelites to accept the MOTB. This is Esau's last plan, okay? Particularly the elites of the Edomites, okay, that run the world, okay? They want to bring in their NWO, even though they're being controlled by Yahweh. He's controlling the left and the right. Everything is being run by Yahweh. We're only playing a role in his big production. So on that note, I hope this lesson was edifying to you, and I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, Shalom.